wonderful, kind of cheesy 80s movie that I love is called Once Bitten. So this movie has one of my all-time favorite 80s songs in it. It's called Once Bitten by 3 Speed. This movie came out in 1985. It's a centuries-old vampire named the Countess, who's played by Lauren Hutton, has kept her youthful look by drinking the blood of virgins. Being the 80s, she was having a hard time finding said virgins to keep up her youthful appearance. So she is thrilled when she meets a young man named Mark, who's played by a young Jim Carrey, who wants to lose his virginity, yet has a reluctant girlfriend named Robin, who's played by Karen Copkins. After luring Mark away from this club that him and his friends go to, the Countess drinks his blood, but the hapless guy isn't sure what has happened until he starts exhibiting these unusual symptoms. The Countess has to bite you like 3 times for you to turn into a vampire, so it's not really a complete thing until that 3rd time. So she is trying to get him away from his girlfriend and everything, but he is kind of not wanting to become a vampire, so antics ensue. Seeing Jim Carrey when he's dressed up as a vampire, not bad. His hair could be longer, but not bad. Another movie that I really liked when I was a kid is called Troop Beverly Hills. This movie came out in 1989. A woman with her marriage breaking up, a Beverly Hills housewife, Phyllis Neffler, who is played by Shelley Long, boosts her self-esteem by leading a local troop of wilderness girls. And although Phyllis's version of roughing it is spending the night at the Beverly Hills Hotel, it suits her privileged troop members just fine. And everything's cool until the leader from their rival team finds out, at which time they kind of have to prove themselves at the yearly jamboree or risk their whole troop being dissolved. Among the many amazing movies that Tim Curry has been a part of, one of the best ones is in the 80s, and no, I don't mean Legend. No, the movie I am talking about is Clue, released in 1985. And basically it's kind of a live action version of the board game. It takes place at this dinner party at a mansion where Tim Curry plays the butler who is directing all these things going on, and everyone's kind of going around this spooky house trying to figure out this whole murder mystery thing, and it's pretty damn funny. So I will leave it at that. The next movie is going to be Willow. Willow came out in 1988. It is a fantasy movie, definitely on par with some movies like Conan the Barbarian, things like that. This dwarf, played by Warwick Davis, has to save this baby, who's a magic special baby from an evil witch that wants to use it to cast evil over the land. Good movie, has Val Kilmer in it. He looks good with long hair too. What can I say? I like guys with long hair. Long hair looks great on everybody. That's all there is to it. Everyone looks better with long hair. Next really great movie I like from the 80s is The Witches of Eastwick. The Witches of Eastwick came out in 1987. The story goes 3 small town friends, Alexandra, who's played by Cher, Jane, who's played by Susan Sarandon, and Suki, who's played by Michelle Pfeiffer. A mysterious stranger named Daryl Van Horn, who is played by Jack Nicholson, kind of starts flirting with everybody, and they all kind of have this kind of poly relationship going on where he's in the middle of it, and everyone kind of ends up hanging out at his mansion. Daryl turns out to be kind of like the devil, and he gets each of them like pregnant so that they can have his kids. The next movie is just called Gothic. This movie came out in 1986, the year I was born. On a warm summer night in 1816, at the Swiss lakeside chateau of Lord Byron, who is played by Gabriel Byrne, the poet and his guest Percy Shelley, who is played by Julianne Sands, his fiancée Mary, who is played by Natasha Richardson, and her half-sister Claire, Miriam Sirr, and his private doctor John Polidori, who is played by Timothy Spall. They spend the evening sharing ghost stories while under the influence of experimental compounds provided by the doctor. As the night goes on, like, their stories kind of come to life, and basically this is kind of the inspiration where Mary Shelley had for Frankenstein. But yeah, great movie, kind of dark without being like actually like horrific or anything. And ending on a lighter note, one of the other movies that I would always like watching when I was a kid was Earth Girls Are Easy. It was made in 1988. It's also a little bit of a musical comedy. It's got this girl named Valerie who's played by Gina Davis. You gotta love Gina Davis. I mean, come on, A League of Their Own, Beetlejuice. So she's dealing with her cheating fiance, who is played by Charles Rocket. She finds a trio of aliens that has come to Earth. They are played by Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans. They crash their spaceship into her swimming pool, and once she like shaves them down, they're kind of handsome guys underneath. Tries to get them to start dating and everything, and she ends up falling for one of them, but it's pretty funny. So yeah, that's it. That's just a random list of 15 movies from the 80s that I really like. Gotta admit, you know, Indiana Jones movies, Back to the Future, I like them like everybody else. Weird Science, everybody likes those types of movies. But these are just a few that people don't usually shout out anymore that I wanted to give a little bit of recognition to, because these were some of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, and I still love them to this day, and I think I'm actually going to go watch Clue right now. So until the next time, treat others how you want to be treated. Have a good rest of your evening.